McBath for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member DeSaulnier, and your staff, and to our witnesses today. Thank you for being with us today. I have read your testimonies. This is the 6th anti-worker hearing held by the majority of this Congress, and we had the 5th just 3 weeks ago. And I'm sure as the surge of successful organizing continues around the country, we will continue to see more efforts to undermine Americans' rights in the workplace. Regardless of what may be said at these hearings or how hostile to unions the majority may be, the first section of the National Labor Relations Act clearly states that it is, and I quote, the policy of the United States to encourage the practice of collective bargaining and freedom of association, end quote. But that's the opposite of what we have seen from the majority of this Congress. Instead, we see efforts to change the status quo, alter the rules, and make it as difficult or uncomfortable as possible for working men and women in this country to exercise their rights. My colleagues claim outreach by the Biden administration, but applauded when former President Trump attempted to issue more anti-worker rules at the National Labor Relations Board than had been issued in the 30 years preceding his time in office. The fact of the matter is that this administration is expanding the role of workers on the job and truly living up to the original intent that Congress had when it comes to collective bargaining. Instead of changing the rules to make it harder for workers to organize and more difficult for companies to voluntarily recognize a union, we should be ensuring that every American can freely exercise their rights in the workplace without the fear of being fired and losing their livelihood. The continued villainization of organized labor before this committee is simply wrong, and it's critically important that we fully fund the National Labor Relations Board, pass the PRO Act, and fight back against these misguided attacks on working families. American families deserve better, and I yield the balance of my time.
Thank you, Ms. McBath.